Good morning. Good morning. It is 2:40, about 2:45 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. So growing up, I used to think that the funniest thing in the world was the Bible. The book, in fact, I have one right here. Book is this big. I have that same size book sitting on my nightstand, and I read it in a week. Same size book, maybe even more pages. And I read it in a week. And the funniest thing growing up was, how come we go to church every Sunday? And now, I didn't go to church every Sunday unless I stayed at my grandmother's house, and then that was not an option because she lived by the saying, as for those who are in my house, we will serve the Lord. And you went. But the funniest thing was, how do they spend so much time, not just on Sunday, but for the past 100, 200 years, reading the same book over and over and over again? I mean, dude, if you read one word, you could have been through the whole book by now. Why are we still going over this book again? Do we have a new book? Is there a different book? Same book. The reason they're able to study that book, refer to that book, make reference to that book, go through that book day in and day out is because the more you grow, the more the words inside that book come to life. If you don't know, if you don't have a spiritual discernment, let me put it like that. If you don't have a spiritual discernment, we have a discernment of pain, we have a discernment of love, we have a discernment of hate, we have a discernment of hunger. I think a discernment simply means we have the ability to tell what from what. So we have all these different discernments. But if you don't have a discernment of the Spirit from a God, from Creator, how do you know you're walking in your destiny? If you don't have a relationship with God, you don't talk to God, you don't know God's Word, what are you listening to? And sometimes what we're listening to is everybody else. Sometimes what we're following is what everybody else is doing. And we're never coming to that point of our full purpose. And then we start living in a state of confusion. Because if you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, you kind of wander around aimlessly. I think that's why a lot of people will start jobs, quit jobs. A lot of people will start this, quit that. A lot of people won't finish anything that they start because the discernment on them is not, it's not from who it's supposed to be from. It's not from God. So something that I'm working on is not worry, not fear, not anxiety. How do you do that? Discernment. That one's simple. It's discernment. Pray about it. Talk about it. Meditate about it. Work towards it. Believe it will happen. Have patience that his time is always the right time. And go about your business. There's been times when I've thrown it up in the air, gave it to God, prayed about it, worked towards it, forgot that I had prayed about it, but kept working towards it, and then it happened. And I used to be surprised. When it would happen, I'd be surprised, like, oh my God, did you see what happened? And I never once reflected on the fact that I asked for it. But because between the time that I asked for it and the time that it happened, I had a lapse in memory where I actually asked for it. Now I ask for it, put everything on autopilot, put everything on cruise control, go to work on it, and I just relax and know that it's going to happen. That's powerful. So if I pray on something today, I know that at some point God will start talking to me, the Spirit will start talking to me, and will start telling me, okay, do this, do that. And in obedience, I'll move in the direction. And then one day it will happen. Now, sometimes it's sooner, but I mean, what's the rush? There's so many things to do. There's so many things to do. So just imagine you can live a life where you throw it out there, pray about it, you believe for it, you work towards it. And you trust that God's timing is perfect. So you're cool on that. And you work towards it. And then one day what you're working for happens. I heard somebody else talk about this yesterday. Somebody close to me talking about this. And I thought it was amazing because when this individual spoke about it, it was almost in awe. Like everything I've been working for the past 7 years, I'm seeing it now. Because sometimes you got to go through some things. Sometimes you got to prepare yourself. Sometimes you got to get ready. Because some of the things you're asking for, it's just too much. I mean, it's not more than you should have, but it's just more than you can handle. Money and relationships are the number one things I gotta believe people ask for. But I tell you, you stick a couple $1 million in somebody's pocket that don't know how to handle 50. That is a disaster waiting to happen, boy. That will tear families apart quick. Quick. Because one day you're going to have to say no. And oh God, or people want relationships. Well, I'm ready for a relationship. You're not even ready to take care of yourself. You still trying to get on your feet. So let me see what kind of man or what kind of man or woman do you think is attracted to you? The one that's looking for a project wife or husband? Facts. Real facts. I believe that people live in a state of chaos, of to and from, mentally, emotionally, physically, because they got too many discernments. Too many things telling them what to do. They got their emotions telling them what to do. They got their hunger telling them what to do. And then some people don't even have the Spirit talking to them. Well, they have it. They just not obedient to it. The Spirit to them is a hunch, a maybe. The Spirit to me is pull this car over right now, walk the rest of the way. Everybody has that choice. Everybody has the same rights, the same privilege, the same access, just not at the same time. Because not everybody's ready for the same thing.